Springboard. Springboard simulates the traditional way of felling trees, climbing up over thick roots. First, notches known as pockets are chopped into the log. Two springboards are then anchored into these pockets. The athlete then climbs up to chop through a 27-centimeter thick block of wood in the fastest time possible.
Heat number 1 of the Springboard. The new man on the block, Tristan Van Beek, and his opponent, Mike Esch.
Well, getting ready to get it started here. This will be our first look, Kevin, at Tristan Van Beek, his first go-round in these U.S. Championships here. He's got a good collegiate record, rookie record here with the STIHL organization. And he'll be going up against a man with 33 years of competitive experience. That would be Mike Esch of Pennsylvania.
Yeah, Mike Esch, been there, done that. He's got the scars and the stories to prove it. Mike Esch, an experienced axe maker and one of the best technicians out there. And some even make the argument, and they say, you know, he's a little bit too technical. Sometimes you just got to let it fly.
All right, here we go. That's Van Beek.
Athletes ready.
Stand number 1.
Stand
Mike
to your
Esch
timber.
on stand number 2.
3, 2, 1, go!
So Van Beek did come to us off a single board world record. This should be rinse and repeat, but I tell you what, Tommy, you get your feet now 6 feet off the ground. Your head is about 12 feet off the ground. It's all that eyeball perspective. Mike Esch, again, been there, done that. Can cut clean pockets, can board well. Maybe isn't quite as quick as Van Beek, but he knows how to get the job done. Struggling on that second pocket, though, is Mike Esch. Van Beek drawing big chips of wood out of the front side of that log. Again, these guys are going to cut 80-90% of the way through the front side of the log and then turn to either switch hand cut, which it looks like Van Beek is going to do, one upward blow into downward blows, drawing some chips. He's got to reach around far. There it is. Tristan Van Beek, a 42.26, an unofficial time. Way to make a statement. First discipline out of the gate for Tristan Van Beek. There's Mike Esch, one more blow, maybe one more after that. Few fibers, I think he's a little bit low. There it is, Mike Esch finds the bottom of that block. Let's talk about Tristan Van Beek, though. What a statement for this young man, seated at the bottom of the pack in the Springboard, and just put an exclamation point on the first discipline, first heat.
Both cuts are good.
There's the smile we've been looking for. Tristan, you know, I love watching, and you can learn a lot about an athlete, how they're doing based on their facial expressions. It's calm, no panic expression, very economical. You just are so confident, but you come off and you're not even breathing heavy. Talk about this.
I guess you just try to practice enough to have good efficiency when you're cutting and hope that it all works out good. And when you start scrambling, that's when you start, you know, getting exhausted. So if it's smooth, it's easy.
Great job. You put your time in. You went down under. Who did you stay with down under? If you want to give a quick credit to them.
Yeah, I stayed with the Gurr family. Shout out Daniel Gurr, Matthew Gurr, and Joe Gurr. Love you guys. And also shout out to my sponsor, AJ Kelly Axes. You're the man.
Thanks, Tristan. You go, Tristan Van Beek. Something tells me you're going to see him in the finals on Sunday.
Let's take a look at this run here from Tristan Van Beek. I love the word efficiency being thrown around out there, because in something like this Springboard event, it is a long discipline. You got 2 different pockets you got to cut, and then you got to go to work at the block at the top. But wasted hits cost wasted seconds. And we're starting to get to a point in the Springboard event where tenths of a second matter, not just seconds. Very clean boarding, very level, very sure-footed, and as Dave Jewett mentioned, excellent slope. That axe is being presented very well. You can see there's a little bit of tension in his hands, the way it kind of waffles down there, way up in the backside. No chance of doglegging that block. Finger in the air. Tristan Van Beek, great run in the opening heat. Heat number 1. I can't even imagine where we go from here.
Official time there for Tristan Van Beek, a personal best, 42.08. Also a personal best for Mike Esch, 1:18.27.
Not just personal best, though, for Tristan Van Beek. That's also an SB season's best. This is the best we've seen so far this year. I've got the feeling that it could potentially fall. We've got some amazing Springboard cutters.
Why not?
But again, to have one of our frankly, bottom-seeded athletes, he's joining us here at a very new level. Got himself a whole lot of training over the offseason, but a 42-second time in heat number 1 is just exceptional.
He's not an unknown quantity anymore. Obviously, this is not, as they say, his first trip to the pool hall.
No, indeed.
Heat number 2 in the Springboard from Bedford, Pennsylvania, Zach Brous, and his opponent is Calvin Willard.
On stand number 1, that's Zach Brous. Zach Brous is a veteran of these U.S. championships. He has been here multiple times before, going up against Calvin Willard. Calvin Willard, pretty much a fixture here for the last several years. Axeman from Vermont.
Tommy, not to play favorites, but Calvin Willard, I went head-to-head with him many years, and I just want to see him just juggernaut in this Springboard event. He is an exceptional standing block cutter. He's got to get the pockets to come together. He's got to board well. If you can get him to that block at the top, he has a great swing in the standing block. Love watching him cut standing blocks. Zach Brous, big-time single buck sawyer, very powerful chopper. This will be a good race.
Athletes ready.
Stand to your timber. 3, 2, 1, go!
Want to see nice, clean 4-hit, ideally pockets. Maybe they got to go to 6 hits. Zach's going to go a little bit deeper here. He's going to run 6 in. Calvin Willard, beautiful first board set. He gets up and jumps on it a little bit. Stop messing with that thing. It's a great board set. Get on that second pocket. Get that axe speed moving. Again, we got to get Calvin to that block at the top so we can cut that block at the top. Zach Brous goes to work on that second pocket, running it in a little bit deeper. We got about 8 hits into this, and we're still counting. There's Willard right around the 30-second mark, is into that block at the top. Something, though, is not jiving between the axe and the block. On the outside, that outer shell of that block, he had to rest that axe. You see him like wiggle the handle. Now he's into the guts of it. It's moving freer, but he's got to get that axe speed up. Brous is right on his heels. Very powerful chopper. Look at the slabs of wood coming down to the stage for Zach Brous.
Here goes Calvin.
Calvin around to the backside, a little bit more. Oh, he's got to reach just a little farther. There it is. Zach Brous very straight in now. It's hard to cut 90 degrees to that grain. He's drawing small chips. He's into the guts of it. And now Zach's turned around. He's going to slash off the backside of this block. I think he's got quite a lot of wood there. He's got to get that near side cut. He's working that far. I don't know if that near is done yet. He's still driving. There it is. So that near was done. Lot of wood to cut when you're standing the wrong way around, the uncomfortable way on that springboard, slashing down through, not drawing a chip.
Calvin, you know, we were talking about situational awareness. You knew the block was breaking up. You took some massive drivers in the front. The block split down the middle. Now, if that was to break off, I believe that would be a disqualification. You knew how to get that thing off with the blade of the axe. And that's something you sort of have to prepare for in case it happens, correct?
Yeah, sure, Dave. The block splitting is not ideal, but once it did, I had to kind of adapt a little bit. It took me a little longer to get it off on the backside than it should have, but I was just trying to make sure it wasn't going to fall off before I cut it off.
All right, good job, Calvin. Big steal points for the man from Vermont. Long drive for Calvin Willard.
Here's Calvin Willard going at that that's his second board hole. Super clean, and I love the kind of double bevel there. His opening drive has a little bit steeper, more vertical angle. Your third hit comes in a little bit flatter, and it creates that upper shelf, the top of that pocket, for that springboard clip or springboard shoe to bite into. There you get a great look too by his left hand where you can see that vertical crack in the block. It did want to separate on him. He kept it together. Good clean cut, solid time, Calvin Willard.
Yeah, he saved the last bit of that cut there to Calvin Willard. Was not able to get it sub 1 minute, but 1:02.34 puts him in second place. Zach Brous, his time, 1:29.78. That was also a personal best for Calvin Willard. So we have seen a lot of personal best here. Just a taste of what we have coming up from here in Milwaukee. Pool A competition. We'll be right back. Man, oh man, 40 years of STIHL Timbersports. What a pleasure it is to be again here this year in Milwaukee, Wisconsin for the 2025 STIHL Timbersports U.S. Championships. This is the first of 3 pools. Each pool contains 8 competitors. Only 4 will pass through the other side and make tomorrow's championship final. So great to be here with you and so glad you can stay with us. Just getting started here. Got 2 2 springboard heats under our belt now and getting ready for the final 2.
Heat 3 of the springboard chop from Morgantown, West Virginia, Josh Wilson, and his opponent, From Walpole, New Hampshire, he's back, Trevor Beaudry.
On block number 1 there, that's Josh Wilson, West Virginia. Veteran of these competitions here, personal best of a minute 10. Might be able to better that. Trevor Beaudry, the school teacher from New Hampshire. He's been steadily improving, getting a lot better results the last few years. He's been out here 4 or 5 years, but has done very well in trophy competition and many other places as well.
And both these guys have been right there in different ways, different things have tripped them up, but again, right there. This is the discipline that starts the day. This is the discipline that sets the pace. Unfortunately or fortunately, it's a complex, multifaceted discipline. So we're going to see both these guys kind of roll the dice for the first time.
Yeah, it looks hard because it really, really is.
Athletes ready.
Yes. Time to beat 42.08.
To your timber. 3, 2, 1, go!
I got to give advantage Beaudry in this event. I've seen him really come along super well in the Springboard event, but Josh Wilson has just proven himself to be an endurance athlete, and this is, Beaudry with a very vertical board. We talk about not wanting to have a sagging board, but this is equally as bad. His body mechanics are all out of whack to cut that second pocket. That can set you up with a really odd second board set. He is up 26, 27 seconds, but he doesn't like that second board set. That first board being so vertical, it puts him in an odd body position. That second pocket, I bet if we looked at it, is actually listing high on the left, low on the right, and that sets him up with his toes low. Feels like he's going to be falling off forward on that board. Josh Wilson has to go down and do some reconstructive surgery on that second pocket. He is setting the board. Looks like he is going to be set. Trevor Beaudry around to the backside, sub 1 minute. Can he do it? Can he stay under 1 minute? Got a lot of timber to ship with not a lot of time to do it.
Oh,
there it is,
almost.
101 showing on that unofficial time. I tell you what, for that disastrous, epically disastrous first board, and I'm not telling Trevor anything he doesn't know already. He would say the same thing. Disastrous first board set. He recovered exceptionally well. And Tommy, I mentioned it in the show intro. I mentioned it at the start of this heat. There's just been something that has held Trevor Beaudry back. He's just needed a couple points here, a couple points there. He just saved himself those couple of points by sticking with this springboard chop.
Yeah, unofficially we have him in second place. We'll have those official times for you momentarily.
Both cuts are good.
Come on over here. No, you're not leaving yet. He can't sneak away. Trevor, great job. I know you've been snake bitten on this stage before, just missing by a point. That's a great time in the springboard. Sometimes it's your best event, sometimes not so much. A great cut today. Talk about it.
Yeah, so I've never really put up a great time in the springboard. I was shooting for 55 seconds. I didn't quite get it, but that's still a good cut for me. Hopefully cut through today and get another crack at it. But beautiful tree, beautiful block on top. Just tried to make myself just keep moving, put some pace, and keep flowing, because we've got a pretty strong pool of springboard cutters.
Yeah, your bottom board was sitting skyward. You made the adjustment on the top pocket. Talk about how fast you can say, hey, this is what I did wrong. Let's correct it.
Yeah, so the bottom board, I actually opened too much wood, and I had to go 6 hits in it, and that got me deeper in the tree than I wanted, because I kind of hit a little harder on the ground. So I'm deeper in the tree, and then the pole was up. The board was up a little bit, so had to be a little ginger cutting the second one, because that's the one you do all your work on, and that one was perfect. I didn't trust it at first, but it was definitely trustable.
Great job. The time's coming in. We're going to look at the replay from Walpole, New Hampshire.
I'd like to talk to Trevor Beaudry about his use of the expression "a little bit." He said that board was up in the air a little bit. That's about a 40-degree angle, and as a springboard cutter, former springboard cutter, I can tell you that's an exceptionally uncomfortable position. It changes how you present that axe to the block on that second board set, but you heard Trevor wisely say, he said, that second board, that's where you really got to do your work. He made sure he put the time and effort in there. Didn't trust it at first. You see him kind of going back with that back foot and applying a little pressure. It was a good board set. Got the job done and got through that block at the top. Here's the finish on the backside as he puts in his last downward blow. About a 101. He was hoping for a 55. it's there. It can happen. It can happen.
Official time of 1:01.6 for Trevor Beaudry. That is a personal best for him. Trevor made the finals last year, finished in 5th place, and he can do no worse in 4th in our first discipline, the springboard.
And Tristan Van Beek on top of the pile with a 42.08 qualification day. Doesn't he know he's a rookie? He's supposed to have like a 4-minute time. Like everything's supposed to just fall apart.
Yeah, we're supposed to nurse him through that and pull him through this.
We'll talk to him after the show.
He was done before we looked up.
Tell him, good job, you can try again next year. But no, he's on top of the heap by a mile.
4th and final heat of the Springboard Chop. Our top 2 ranked combatants from Sheboygan, Michigan, Dakota Robarge, and our current world champion, his opponent, Nate Hodges.
Final heat of the springboard coming up right now. Dakota Robarge broke through, made the championship final last season. Going to be over here on stand number 1 and on stand number 2, the reigning U.S. champion, the reigning world champion, California's Nate Hodges.
We talk a lot about Nate Hodges, but I want to shift over to the other side of the stage with Dakota Robarge. What a feather in his cap after the performance he had here last year. He is seated with our world champion and world record holder in the springboard event. They're like, when we're figuring out who's going to race against who, yeah, you can go with the best of the best.
Dakota Robarge makes his home in Sheboygan, not Wisconsin up the road here, but Sheboygan, Michigan.
Athletes ready.
Stand to your timber.
California.
3, 2, 1, go.
Watch the speed from both of these competitors as they just pound in this first springboard. Little trouble for Hodges. See a hesitation there. The sandbag that helps keep the springboard from sliding while you're cutting that pocket, he actually got hung up a little bit on the end of the board. New rule this year, they're not letting the competitors set nails in the pole to help support their springboard pole while they're chopping, while it's leaning against the tree. So I think Hodges is messing with that sandbag position. He got past that though. Beautiful board set for both these guys. Hodges was again chopping about 26 seconds on that second board. Blistering pace through the log at the top. I tell you what, well, Tristan Van Beek. Tristan Van Beek may have won Pool A springboard in his rookie season.
Unbelievable.
Dakota Robarge into the back. He's going to come out just past that, right around that 1 minute mark. That's not shabby.
Well, unofficially, that will give Dakota 3rd place. And we'll have to see the official time on Hodges. And how it compares to Van Beek. But they did not let us down. 2 of the best springboarders in the world right there.
Dave, do you remember a time where if you cut just under a minute, you were winning the springboard in North America? And now, look at what these guys have done. Well, incredible.
It used to be records. It used to be records broken, and now you have to break old world records just to qualify to be in the top 5. They're always finding these microseconds to grab.
Both cuts are good.
And we'll get a quick word with Nate Hodges, just catching his breath here. Boy, Nate was out warming up. Are you good for a quick interview, bud? This is what happens when you're in the top 2. We're waiting to see you and Tristan Van Beek. We'll get you in the middle of the sponsors here, bud. Great cut again. Your debut here, you broke the national record. You don't have to prove that. You're looking to get points, to get to the finals. Everyone wants to see you run that hot saw. Talk about that run. Had a little trouble with the sandbag, something you addressed in the competitor meeting this morning. What's the purpose of the sandbag?
Well, Dave, still they've enforced a new rule. We're not allowed to use any nails or anything to pin our, pin our springboards down so they don't move around when you're putting your pockets in. And I've been kind of scratching my head how we're going to do it. And I kind of laid the sandbag over the back of the board thinking it would just roll off, and it didn't. It wanted to join me up there. So,
well, a quick recovery. Don't think it's going to kill you getting into the final. We're pretty confident we're going to see you there. but you can make the adjustment in the final. We're going to let you catch your breath, buddy, get off stage. Hey, big round of applause to the man who always arrives in the Springboard. And a long trip from California, Nate Hodges.
Here's a great look at that first pocket. You can see the corner of that Springboard just got hooked in that sandbag. Not a lightweight, but Hodges makes it look like a lightweight. Here he goes to work on that second board hole. There you see him clean out the ceiling of that thing. I don't like there he goes. He just picked it up. A little bit of debris in the back of the mailbox, some junk mail in there. He should clean out, but it held. Got up to the top of this block. I know we're watching Nate Hodges. I know we're watching Dakota Robarge, but in my mind, I keep going back to Tristan Van Beek. What an epic performance from this rookie to have times right in there with the rest of these guys.
And there it is. You see, there's the finals for the Springboard. Tristan Van Beek just barely less than a minute ahead of, less than a second ahead of Nate Hodges as it stands right there. Nate Hodges a time of 43.02.
Our first heat of the Springboard, Mark Beauquin versus Logan Scarborough.
Heat number 1 and Mark Beauquin, the state of New York against North Carolina's Logan Scarborough. I think of Logan Scarborough as just fresh out of college, but it's been a while now. He is a fully matured athlete of 2 really tough competitors out here to get started with our very first of 4 heats.
Tommy, I want to bring it to your attention, too. I picked up on it right away, and I had a great conversation with him earlier today. Mark Beauquin is probably about half the man he used to be if you look at him on this stage.
Amazing.
He has gone through an amazing transformation. Back to where he used to be, he said from his peak high weight to where he is now, it's about a 100-pound difference. But he's staying lean, he's staying mean, he is running. I think this Springboard event is where it's going to pay off the most for him.
His last time in the finals, to make the finals, was 2023. Wound up finishing 7th overall in the U.S. Men's Championship.
Athletes ready.
Stand to your timber. 3, 2, 1, go!
Our first swings of the axe and our first discipline here for Pool B. Logan Scarborough and Mark Beauquin. I hesitated there for a little bit. I'm a little worried about Scarborough's first board. He's up on it, but you can see he's got his right foot right up in that pole, as does Mark Beauquin. Neither one of these gentlemen trusting that first board set. I was about to say they're both solid Springboard cutters, but struggles on this first board set. Gotta have this second. Oh, there you see both of their first boards failing. Logan Scarborough just barely getting off that first board before it comes crashing to the stage. And Mark Beauquin ends up back on the stage, reworking pocket number 1. Beauquin with a much better looking first board, just a tiny bit of upslope. That's what we like to see. Logan Scarborough's top board showing a little bit of sag. He's choked in. You see his oh wow, Beauquin. Holy cow. Beauquin somehow stays alive and gets his way up to that second board with his second attempt at the first board also falling to the stage. This is a disastrous open for Springboard here, Pool B. Logan's got to get up higher with that. There he goes. He's creeping up higher. He's going to sever the near fibers, reach around to the far. He's about a minute 20 in. It'll be about a minute 30 seconds. Oh, no. Got it off a full swing or two ahead of where I thought he'd be. Showing an unofficial time of 1:22. What a calamity start to this Pool B. These guys just staying with it, gutting it out. Mark Beauquin just looking to grab as many steel points as he can at this point. He is going to end up near the bottom of the heat probably, unless we have some DQs or something this event. Way to just gut it out and stay with it. Holy cow.
Very important for him to get it in before the 2-minute limit there. You got the points.
Yes.
No matter what your position in the finish.
Both cuts are good.
Springboard mayhem right out of the gates. You know, we were looking at these pools, Pool A, B, and C. They're all tough pools. There's nowhere to hide this year. You have to go, and you hit that right on go. You hit that bottom pocket. The slab came out. Were you aware of that slab, and what do you do to correct it? Is that possible at that point?
Yeah, I think you can. You know, move over a little bit, 2 and 2, something like that, or 1 and 1. I chose not to. It's still series, so I jumped on it, and it held enough.
Well, you knew enough to hug the pole to get your weight up towards the pole. That really is the best thing you can do. If you're back on that board, it could peel out.
Only option, yeah. The second pocket wasn't that great either. I had to really stay on the clip, but got through it.
Great job. 5 events to go. Logan Scarborough, always willing to give a great interview of what happened with 3 heats remaining.
Well, let's take a look at this ejection button right there from Logan Scarborough. Synchronized board failures. Logan manages to leap off his first board. As he does so, he puts too much, or not, the pocket couldn't handle the pressure and fails out. And then we're watching Logan Scarborough, his second board sagging down. And here it is. Look at this Herculean save. I was holding my breath here, hoping that axe didn't come out of that block for Mark Boquin. Wow. Here's the finish for Logan Scarborough. I think that first hit was a little too low. I don't think that was trying to draw a chip. I think he just was low on that thing, got up where he needs to be, and kept his slope, got the top of the block off, finished the cut. Neither one of those gentlemen are going to be happy with those times.
Yeah, look at that time. A personal best, though, for Logan Scarborough, 122.45.
That's stunning.
That's surprising. Very surprising.
That was a rough cut. There's a lot of room for that, and we're going to see some faster PBs from him very quickly.
Mark Boquin about 25, 26 seconds behind that, but he makes it inside of the time limit, so that's very important. You got to score at least a point out of this one right here. Coming to you from the BMO Pavilion here. Part of German Fest here in Milwaukee. A very special weekend to begin with. They just opened the gates a little while ago for Saturday's enjoyment. A little bit of cloudy skies here, but pleasant temperatures. Perfect situation for our competition today, that is for sure. And a good crowd starting to come in here. Everybody's got to make their way to German Fest and grab some refreshments and head on in.
For heat number 2, Billy Cornelius and his opponent, Aaron Hovis.
All right, on stand number 1 from Pittsfield, New Hampshire. 15 years actually competing for Billy Cornelius. Going up against Aaron Hovis, the axeman from Missouri. Three Rivers College there. Not too far from Poplar Bluff, where he learned his lumberjack skills.
Athletes ready.
Stand to your timber. 3, 2, 1, go!
Well, now that we got that first heat out of the way and got all the gremlins worked out, let's see how these two do. Aaron Hovis on the right, Billy Cornelius on the left. Cornelius going back. Oh, now he's just pecking in there. I don't like that. That makes a lot of what I call junk mail. A lot of little chips in the back of that hole. You go to set that springboard in, any one of those small chips ends up on top of that shoe. The edge, that little razor edge at the top of the shoe can't grab the top of the pocket and just ejects it. Look at Aaron Hovis at the top board around 24 seconds and making good progress, except I don't see a chip releasing out of that block. There we go, we got our first chip out. I don't know if that axe is not liking the block. You see the axe kind of resting. He's got to wiggle it out. There it is on the up hit again, Billy Cornelius not pleased with his second board set. Going back to make repairs. There is a shelf of wood on the top of that pocket, and that will just tear out of there. He's got to get that shelf cleared out. I don't like that. I still don't like the looks of that. Billy Cornelius is good enough for me. We'll see how it holds. Yeah, he's not confident in that pocket, and I don't like what I saw looking in there. This is the ultimate question when you're cutting these springboards. Do you spend the time to correct the pocket, or you just get up there and suffer through it? And as I aged in the sport, I realized you fix the dang pocket.
Yeah.
It just, you lose so much on every swing cutting on a bad board. Aaron Hovis, there he is, about 126 unofficial time. That block or that axe did not treat him well. He boarded very good to get there, but struggled opening that block up. Cornelius has got good flow, good pace, but again, he is not back on that board. He's not standing on the clip. He's not really choked up, but he is not back and as loose and as comfortable as you would be on a truly good board set. Billy into the backside of this. He is a slash-handed cutter. Probably going to have to draw a chip on this. There he goes. He's going to draw a chip out. That opens up, clears some space to get that axe in there. Works it near to far. You hear some of the other competitors calling way over, way over. They must have a lot of wood over on that far side. I'd like to see that near twist open a little bit. I don't think the near side, oh, there it is. It was on the far side.
Aaron Hovis' time should. It's official, qualifying him for second place behind Logan Scarborough. Let's take another look at Hovis.
Both cuts are good.
Great for your textbook board sets. You saw what happened. So you have a little bit of an advantage in the preparation area. There's monitors back there. You saw what happened with Scarborough, with Bo Quinn. Did that adjust your game plan at all, making your pockets in these yellow poplar poles?
Yeah, seeing Logan's pole on that first hit where it slabbed, knowing that that pole is likely to do that to me too, I was able to adjust how hard I hit that first one. So try to avoid doing that to me. So.
Well, you hung in there up top. You could tell it was dry wood. Sometimes when that axe penetrates the wood, you hear that nice pop. It was more like hitting a 2x4 today. But you just have to keep breathing and keep a rhythm going.
Yep, just like a little engine that could, just keep chugging.
Here they are side by side, and there's Billy Cornelius deciding to descend back to his first board to make repairs to that second pocket. And I don't know if we'll have the same camera angle again, but you could look into that second pocket and you could see a shelf in the top of that pocket. There it is right there, that extra line in the top. That means that first hit went in, actually was his second, and then maybe his fourth hit went in, and that shelf is just waiting to tear out of there. If that thing tears out, it ejects that chip and the board and Billy Cornelius with him. Aaron Hovis really struggled in the front side of this log. That axe did not like it. It seemed like a drier piece of pine. In the back, he is just putting in massive slashing blows, able to break some wood on the far side, which is where Billy Cornelius also struggled, could not get those far fibers to break.
Well, there's the official time for Aaron Hovis, a 1:26.13. Puts him about 3.5 seconds behind the leader, Logan Scarborough. Mark Boquin hanging in there in fourth place, and Billy Cornelius, really tough time of it out there with 2:19.44. This is 2 heats down in our very first discipline of the day. Springboard chopper going through 6 full disciplines before it's all decided. We're going to take our field of 8 down to 4, who will compete tomorrow for the U.S. Championship. Very, very important. Getting in the top 4 is everything here in Milwaukee. 40 years, unbelievable, celebrating the original extreme sport and taking it to the world. STIHL Timbersports has certainly gone global. We're looking for a U.S. champion, though, this special weekend here in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Got a little low hanging clouds there, but no rain as yet. Not going to rain on us. We're under the roof here. We turn it back over to Dave Jewett for the heat number 3 of the Springboard.
Thanks, Tommy. Let's go right into heat number 3. This is Alex Storm versus Cassidy Shear.
Well, there's your champion from 2019, U.S. men's individual champion here, Cassidy Shear. Earned that there, a great victory, and went on, did very well. I believe he's runner-up in the World Championships, going up against Alexander Storm from Newville, Pennsylvania, Penn State. Chopper and Sawyer in his collegiate days. This will be his 4th attempt to make it from the pools to the finals.
Well, Tommy, we had 2 shifts, we'll call them, in the rules. One, somewhat more minor, is no nails to hold the springboard in place while the chopping's going on. So
you see them now.
Right, you see the springboard leaning against the pole. Competitors used to be allowed to drive a nail in on either side just to keep it from falling. That's
Athletes
not there
ready.
Anymore. Some people a little bit upset about that. We'll see how it plays out. No issues so far.
Go.
And as it was pointed out in the rules meeting, that's the way the rest of the world does it. So,
that's right. We're on a level playing field with
Cassidy Shear. Cassidy Shear saw that run from Aaron Hovis, and he is looking. Oh, there's Cassidy Shear's board, though. Look at it, just shift to the left. It is about to tip off that pole. Look at it, fell right to him. It was not where he thought it was going to be when he reached for it. But there you go. That's why they had the nails in there, was to prevent that board from wiggling while the competitor's chopping. Shear is up and into the block at the top, drawing big chips out of that log. Large face axe, tons of axe spanning. Wow, that axe just bounced back out at him, almost knocked him off the board. Alex Storm is up to his block at the top. Looks like he's pretty happy with that board set. You see he's way back out on it, swinging a much smaller axe than Cassidy Shear is. Cassidy's working his way all the way to the back of that log. wants to get down to as little wood as possible. Once you get to that point, it's pinched out to a V. You got nothing else. Here we go, that famous windmill swing of Cassidy Shear in the back of that log. Cleans it off. Just over a minute, round 109-110 for his unofficial time. Alex Storm, there you see that smaller axe. He's actually going 3 hits across the face of that block. He started to build up a point in the middle of that chopping face. Wood that he wasn't cutting. His far hit was far enough. His near hit was nice and close, but he wound up with this kind of point sticking out of the middle of the cut where he wasn't getting that middle wood. Cassidy Shear just throwing a snow shovel into that block.
Here we are again. You know, let's rewind 1 week up the championships up in Hayward. I believe it was your bottom pocket that gave way. Talk about what happened and how you correct that going into Milwaukee.
Yeah, I had a mistake that I slabbed out the tree and didn't even finish the event. I mean, I didn't really think about that. I've cut heaps of 40-second springboards. Just did the kind of cut to get through. That was the hardest log I've ever chopped up top at a steel event, but like, it's fine. I'm in first right now. I'll get at least 6 points. It's all good.
Yeah, and we talk about that backhanded swing. I asked you about it. You said, look, nobody really taught me how to chop a springboard when I was younger. I learned on my own. I developed this swing. It works, and it's working for you. I've never seen anyone else really attempt it, but I love watching that bet. So much power.
Yeah, it works. I mean, there are better ways to do it, but I'm too old and too stubborn to change my ways.
Well, here's that second pocket from Cassidy Shear. Great looking board set, and he bores it right back into the back. And that's where you can run into trouble, where you slab the board out. Watch that board slide over to him, though. We talked about that during the actual event. The top of that board, previous to this year, you would put 1 nail on either side of it to keep it from rattling or sliding or doing exactly that. That's probably the worst I've seen here this weekend. So if that's the worst that we have, maybe it will be okay.
Might be.
And like I mentioned, Cassidy Shear throwing a massive axe, gets into the backside of this just wieldy roundhouse, whatever you want to call it, swing. Nobody else is doing it like that. When you're turned around on the backside of the board, you're standing on the other side of the plate. You're hitting switch-handed. Everybody has their own way of dealing with it, but most of those ways fall into 2 camps: off-handed chopping or slashing. Option C, Cassidy Shear.
There you go, and it worked. He complained. He said that was the toughest piece of wood he'd ever cut up on top of the pole there, but didn't hinder him too much. His first place time now is 13, almost 14 seconds faster than Logan Scarborough, the leader coming into heat number 3, and we are all set to roll into heat number 4 momentarily here. Complete the springboard chop, see who gets the top points.
All right, let's bring him out. The man who holds the world record in 35 seconds. This is Walt Page. And his opponent on the right pole, from Grafton, West Virginia, your 7-time national champion, Matt Koger.
7-time champion Matt Koger going at it again, trying to win another one. 38 years old, and personal best of 38.78, but look at the personal best for his opponent, 35.43, the world record holder, Walt Page from California.
Yeah, when you've got a WR next to your PB, that's a good day.
Yeah, that was a good day.
It ain't, I don't know, I go back historically, Tommy. You and I have watched many of these events. We've seen many cutters. We've seen the times fall. And every season we're like, wow, that's as fast as you could possibly do that. That'll stand forever. We'll never see that number go down. We said that at the 1 minute mark. We said that at the 50-second mark. We said that at the 40-second mark. Hot saw yesterday. Dave and I were talking about this leaving here, the 7-second hot saw run. Well, now we're down
Athletes
the 4s.
ready.
We're in the low 4s.
Stand to your timber. 3, 2, 1, go.
Well, this is going to be a barn burner, folks. World record holder Walt Page, stand number 1. Matt Koger, 7-time STIHL TIMBERSPORTS U.S. champion on stand number 2. And these boys are going to put on a clinic for us. Slight advantage to Walt Page as he gets that axe set just ahead of Matt Koger. He's up. He'll be about a swing ahead. Matt Koger's got a bit of a a listing board. I like the board set for Walt Page better, and he is into the block faster. Matt Koger, though, I know can cut this block maybe a little quicker. We're gonna have a really tight race here. World record pace not gonna be seen today, as that time has now elapsed. Wood is a little bit firmer today. That is not a mystery. All the competitors know it. These guys are working their way as far as they can on their strong side. I think Matt Koger has done more work on the front side of this log. Walt Page is a switch-handed cutter, as is Koger, and it is Koger. That effort put in on the front of the log paid out in the back. When you're in that switch-handed position, you want to minimize the number of hits there. Matt Koger did the work in the front of that log, had it bored way in, minimal effort on the back. What a clinic.
That's the kind of race that people come to see out here. What competition. The fourth heat of the Springboard Chop.
Well, and Tommy, I was talking how you and I have both watched a lot of these, and I love watching. I get excited when a heat like that. I don't know if you know, I vacated my chair for a little bit. We just stood up to watch that.
You levitated above it. It was amazing.
What a race between two stellar athletes.
Oh.
Both cuts are good.
Here comes Matt Koger. By the way, Matt, I had you to win that event. Dave said it was Walt Page. Now, you didn't hear that, did you? Move over here. Move over a little bit. Let's get us centered here. Awesome. I love the expression on your face. You're such a nice guy, you know, on and off the stage. But when the gun went off, it's just this, I must win this event. And you have to be pumped up going against the world record, Walt Page.
Yeah, it is a good feeling. You know, like, I got to give credit to Walt. You know, he's a great axeman, great competitor. And, you know, holding the Springboard record, it's, I kind of look up to him a bit, so I'll give him that.
Well, awesome show to put on, making those logs look soft in roughly 53 seconds. I'm going to let you go. I love talking to you on the stage. We'll be talking to this guy a few more times. There's your leader in steel points from Grafton, West Virginia, Matt Koger.
Well, here it is, side by side, great two-shot, watching these two awesome athletes go head-to-head. It was advantage Walt Page in the climb. There you see him in the back. You can count the hits. He's going to be a solid 3 blows, I think, ahead of Matt Koger. But once Matt Koger got into the block, it may have been axe, it may have been technique a little bit. He definitely bored in a little further than Walt Page did. He had less work to do on that offhanded side. But again, sub-1 minute times in this firmer timber, exceptional cutting from two exceptional timber sports athletes.
I don't know if Matt Koger needs any more encouragement, but taken down the number one, the record holder, the world record holder, Walt Page, with 53.01. 53.01. Matt Koger is your points leader after one event, one of our 6 disciplines here, the STIHL TIMBERSPORTS U.S. Championships.
First event, Springboard Chop, one of the most extreme events in all of timber sports, climbing 9 feet up. These beautiful tulip poplar poles coming out of Virginia this year. All right, first heat getting set up. On position 1, we have Brad Jones. On position 2, Tyler White.
Some of the guys have just been, I was talking with Mark McQuinn and some of the athletes we just saw in full feed.
William Jones, known as Brad Jones, on stand number 1 there, Stratford, New Hampshire, via the University of Maine, where he picked up started his career in chopping and sawing. Go to him, it's Tyler White, Galway, New York. Cobleskill, his undergraduate work was done there. Was 10th in the trophy in 23.
Yeah, and Tommy, I'm very much queued up on stand number 1. I want to see what Brad does in the Springboard. He is joining us, first-year professional ranks, came out of the collegiate series. This 2-board Springboard does not exist as a collegiate event. So these guys, especially Brad in this case, we're getting our first taste. Yeah. He's getting his first taste. We're going to see what he can do.
Well, we've been surprised before, so.
Yes.
Athletes ready.
Stand to your timber. 3, 2, 1, go!
So many things to go right, so many things can go wrong in this springboard event. You essentially have 3 chops here, 2 small chops in the form of springboard pockets, and then the big job, cutting off that white pine block at the top. You're sort of handicapped in a way where you can only work from the strong-handed side through maybe 80-90% of the block. Then you have to turn on the off-handed side to either slash or chop the remaining timber. Both these guys have good first board sets, nice and level, a little bit of upslope there for Tyler White, puts that spring in the springboard. They are struggling though with that second board set. Tyler White, second board is now in. Brad had to go back. He had the heel and toe buried in that second board set, and the axe was hung really bad. Tyler White with about a 5 or 6 blow advantage into the top of this log. Tyler actually spanning that axe a little bit poorly. He's putting hits into the middle of that block instead of a very clear, distinct. There it is on this round though. Now he's picking up the near and far, letting a little bit of metal hang out both sides of that log, and it clears those chips. He had a few hits where he wasn't quite clearing the near wood. There he goes again. He's going into a 3-hit rotation. I feel like that axe should span it. Brad Jones into the back though, the rookie getting ready to drive off this block. There it is.
Got it.
Wow, a 126 in his first efforts here on the professional stage. That says something for the integrity of that first board set for Tyler White. It collapsed under his weight as he came back down out of that tree. Yes. Held good enough to get the job done, I guess.
Yeah, it's better now than then.
We'll get a quick word with Brad Jones. He had that 4-hit bottom pocket, and then the wheels fell off a little bit. I would have liked to have seen Tyler get farther back on that board. The perfect bottom board, he was crunched up to the tree.
Both cuts are good.
Now we'll see it on the replay, Dave. Tyler's bottom board is perfect, but you have to get to the back of it to look into that top board. Let's talk with Brad Jones right now. Brad Jones, Brad, buddy, hey, 4 hits, bottom pocket. You were off and running. What happened, Dave? And I really couldn't see it. We're going to see it on the replay here. What happened on the top pocket?
Yeah, I tried to get back and get set on that first board. There was a chip stuck at the back of the first pocket. Tried to flick it out. It already committed, so there was a wall in the back. Put two hits in the top pocket. My board sagged, so I had to get close up, which changed the presentation that I had for the axe. So messed around with that for a while.
Tough event. Give a big round of applause to Brad Jones. Tough event right out of the gates. Let's watch the replay here.
Brad, here you go. Talk about this.
Well, here's that opening pocket for Brad Jones. Clean, professional 4-hit pocket. Not much of a flick. There it is. Not much of a flick of the axe on that 4th hit. He had to go back with a little finger broom and clean out the chips in the back. But he did. I don't think he really trusted it. He didn't get back on that first board. I'm critiquing Brad Jones though, like he's been a 6-year timber sports athlete. I wish I cut boards like that coming out of college. Tough sledding in that second pocket though, where he got both the heel and toe of the axe stuck. Did a great job rolling in those hits. It was probably some pretty tough hits there as he got into the middle of that log and got very perpendicular to the grain. Drove it off clean in the back though. Brad Jones, a 126 in his first appearance on the big stage. That is epic.
Yeah, not a bad debut at all for the man from New Hampshire there. Tyler White coming in with 141.60. 3 more heats left to go in the springboard.
Some of these power events later on.
And look how close he is up to the pole. No need for that. Got to get back to the pole. And let's go with Heat 2 of the Springboard. David Moses versus Arden Koger Jr.
David Moses in the lineup again. He says for the last time. David in his 60s now. Great career in timber sports. The chopper and sawyer from Washington State. Sort of one of the alternates for a position that Adam Lethko had to vacate coming in here. So we're looking forward to seeing a couple of veterans go at it here, going up against Arden Koger Jr.
Yeah, and the whole this is his last go, that's not new news. I was actually talking to his wife, and David decided last year, he turned 60, this was going to be his last year no matter what. Did not make it in. He was first alternate. As you mentioned, Adam Lethko, unable to make it. David got the call Tuesday afternoon in Washington State. Tuesday night, started the 29-hour drive here to Milwaukee, Wisconsin to join us here on the stage for one last go. And he's been up against this man many times. Arden Koger Jr.
3, 2, 1, go!
Both of these guys know exactly what needs to happen in this Springboard event. Now they just got to execute it. Arden looking a little bit spray in that bottom pocket, just kind of putting hits in around. Oh, that's a disaster of a pocket for Arden Koger Jr. I'll give him a hug later and tell him it's okay, but I can't varnish that truth. No. That is a disaster of a first pocket. I hate having those steps in the top of that pocket. Upstairs is looking much cleaner. That's a great looking pocket for Arden Koger. A little bit of a lip of wood. I hope that doesn't tear on him, but I think he'll be all right. Wow, he just pulled that together. Looking much better in that top pocket. David Moses springing up to his second board as well. Not feeling quite as confident as Arden Koger Jr. is. David Moses has some really tough slows. He's scooching in even closer to the block. That's a perfect camera shot. Look at the contrast between David Moses, his left foot on the clip, maybe 6 inches from the log. Arden Koger Jr. well back on the board, able to extend the swing and put some power behind it. Arden Koger Jr. on the backside of the log, a switch-handed cutter. Again, David Moses unfortunately just choked up, just absolutely handicapped his swing by not having a solid second board set. David Moses looking for all the points he can get. Springboard, not one that I'm sure he was banking on gaining a lot of points, but clock is ticking and points are waning away. Drawing a chip, now he can go into more of a slashing action if he can get that near wood to break. He's so choked up on that block.
One more ought to do it for that. No, just missed on that one. There we go.
Not the cut David Moses wanted to open his day with.
We'll see what Jamie has to say here after this Springboard shot. Ruling here, Judge Rich Howell.
Both cuts are good.
Yeah, Jamie Koger. We'll get a quick word from him. How you feeling, buddy? Yeah. Talk about that chop. It's a tough event. You're a big guy to be up there 9 feet in the air, but you did it. You got good points, a good time.
You know, folks, you all out there, the combined age of the two fellows who just competed for you is 116 years. How about that? Lumberjack sports, timber sports is for all walks of life. male, female, young, and old. Power to everyone who wants to try this. Thank you all for coming out.
Thanks, Jamie. Well, the stocks are coming up. We'll see him again soon. Jamie Koch, I believe, in the lead right now.
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to take a look at this replay here. Arden Coker Jr.
Well, it was a story of two pockets, Tommy. Pocket number one, absolute chaos for Arden Coker Jr. Look at the series of steps, and there you can see he actually stuffed it in and hit one of those upper walls, kicked a chip out. Let's just get past that, though. Leave that one behind. The second pocket, though, we had a great angle here. Needed to pick up just a tiny amount of wood there on the top, but again, great clean pocket. I'd go on that all day long, and he knew it. You even see as he jumped off that first board, the sag there. That second board held beautiful, though, for him.
The two ageless ones putting on a show for us there. Arden Coker taking the lead, as a matter of fact, with his 1 minute, 19.10 seconds there. David Moses' official time, 2.03.18. So 2 heats down in our first discipline of the day. That's the springboard chop. Boy, this is a great one to get behind you. It takes every bit of skill you got, all your endurance and everything else. But we will continue on. 2 more heats coming up in that, and of course 5 more disciplines right after that to define our 4 top finishers from Pool C. So we'll take a quick break here in Milwaukee, and we will be right back.
Growing that into this? Yeah, you did that. That little guy, he's now this guy. You did that too. And where do you think this comes from? Yep, performance enhancements. Miracles like these don't just happen. They take sweat, faith, and we're proud to say, a little bit of this. Precision technology to do more with less, so that this can one day do that.
In this country, we believe in what we're made of. Grit. Drive. The will it takes to be different. We've been called to serve this great land, to help its keepers, its guardians, no matter the odds. Because we were made for this.
STIHL Timbersports is gearing up for the 2025 season, celebrating 40 years of adrenaline-fueled logger sports history. Since 1985, the original extreme sport has grown from a U.S.-based event to the pinnacle series of global competitive woodchopping with athletes and competitions in over 20 countries worldwide. Get ready for an axe-exhilarating season filled with passion, precision, and pure power.
Years, 40 years celebrating the ultimate, the original extreme sport, and taking that sport worldwide. STIHL Timbersports kind of got its go here in America 40 years ago, and man, it's all over the globe now. And we have got plenty more on the way. Pool C action, trying to find our last 4 qualifiers for the final championship round coming up here tomorrow at 2 p.m. Central Time. I think we're ready to get going with our next heat.
Heat 3 of the springboard. Let's bring them out. Grant Foreman and Ben Nicely.
Grant Foreman's going to be on stand number 1. Grant Foreman, the engineer from Marysville, Ohio, the veteran. He's been to these championships many times. I think his best finish I think it was 5th place back in 2022. That's right. Grant Foreman going up against Ben Nicely. Very, very tough competitor from North Carolina. Seems to be improving year over year for a long, long time here. 11 years competing.
I think this will be a great race between these two guys. Grant Foreman, to me, is like new Mike Esch. Their engineering, their precision, their study of the sport, but at the same time, one of the things that, and I bet they'll both admit it, that sometimes you just gotta let the dogs run, not worry about it being absolutely perfect and perfectly engineered.
Athletes ready.
Stand to your timber. 3, 2, 1, go!
And of course, Ben Nicely, we've watched him come out of the STIHL Timbersports collegiate ranks into the professional ranks. Family man now, he's been around for a decade. It just blows my mind.
That's unbelievable.
Oh, and I don't like that shelf of wood in Ben Nicely's bottom pocket. And you see there it is, there's the sag, and I think it's gonna continue to dip. Inside that pocket, there's a little shelf of wood on the top lip, the ceiling of that cave, and it is just crushing under the weight of Ben Nicely. Grant Foreman has a great board hole. Got to slam that thing to the back a little more. Get up there, Grant. Let's get that axe moving. Ben Nicely's first board is going to hold long enough, at least, it seems, so he can exit that first board. Much more comfortable in that second board. Now he's got to get that axe speed going, stop resting it. Boy, that axe is just loving that block all the way to the maker's mark. Great looking cuts from both these guys. The precision, there it is from Grant Foreman. There's Grant Foreman into the backside. He's got the work done. Look at that driving blow on the front side, sliced all the way in. Great finish from Grant Foreman. Arm pump 109 showing is his unofficial time. Nice, I was say Nicely maybe has 2 more blows. There's 1 more blow of the axe for Ben Nicely. Ben's got to be careful jumping out of there. That first board got him to the second board, but just barely.
All of these steel boards, they're just grabbing them all. But Grant Foreman, I think he had enough of you and I talking about Nicely and just made a statement there. Absolutely. Like I said, he spent a lot of time out back there. A bunch of athletes over there, maybe 10 minutes looking at their axes, testing them in their test blocks out back. Grant took a lot of time, was diligent about it, and he picked perfect axe for the job. What a cut for Grant Foreman.
Both cuts are good.
Yeah, Grant is pumped up. That's about as much as a smile as you normally see out of Grant.
Yeah, I love the
stage.
fist bump. I love the emotion. Unleash of power, unleash of emotion with Grant Foreman. Grant, come on over here, buddy. I talked to you an hour ago, and you were concerned about your back issues. How's your back feeling now?
A lot better.
Are you able to phase that out when you're up on that top board? It's just a beautiful cut. Your accuracy, your slope, one of the best springboards, and you brought it to Milwaukee.
Yeah, I noticed a lot of earlier competitors were having some trouble with their pockets. I slowed down, tried to put the hits in right, made sure I had good pockets so I could cut with strength on top.
You're leading the field, buddy. Congratulations. Get ready for the stock saw. There you go.
Let's watch this replay, Dave. Yeah, here they go.
There's a great shot of these two going head to head. The struggles of Ben Nicely. He was putting in hits, big power, but there was that shelf. You can see he tries to sweep it out. There's that shelf of wood in the back though, and it just absolutely crushes down. Grant Foreman, he set his axe so hard in that tulip poplar pole, he almost couldn't get it out. The first board set though, rock solid. Second one gets up. You can see he's a little bit ginger getting back there, but once he gets back on the board, realizes it's good, he just lays waste to that white pine block at the top. We haven't mentioned it here in this pool and maybe in a while, but one of the interesting things about Springboard is this is the only event where you need one axe to cut 2 different species of wood. So you've got probably a fresher, greener tulip poplar log and maybe a drier white pine log up top. You need one tool that will cut both pieces of timber, hopefully equally as well.
Well, year before last, Grant Foreman qualified for the finals, the final championship. He's off to a good start right here. He holds the lead with only one heat remaining in the springboard with his official time of 1:08.71.
Who wants one of these? Oh, absolutely. Heat number 4 of the springboard, the final heat. Let's bring them out. Jason Lentz versus Maddie Slingerland.
Should be a good one here. Jason Lentz on stand number 1, former champion here, former international champion, world champion. Matt Slingerland, who has been so close to winning this championship so many times.
I don't know if you just saw that, Tommy. We've talked about the rule change this year, but Jason Lentz just slammed his board up against the pole to try to set it into the bark so it doesn't slide around. The other board skidded right off the side of the pole. Previously, competitors have been allowed to put 2 nails in, one on either side of their springboard shoe to hold the board in place. That has been erased as an option. Sandbags are the only thing they're allowed to use. So obviously marquee matchup here, Tommy. These are the two best in the pool at this discipline. I've been watching Maddie Slingerland for years just be right there in terms of championship rankings. This is a chance right here for him now to get some points over Jason Lentz. Oh, and he was right there on the go. Here's 3, there's 4. He tries to sweep it, it's not there. He's going in 6-7, trying to fix that pocket. He is behind in the race to Jason Lentz. Jason has a great looking first board set. Maddie Slingerland had to put some extra effort into it, but he's got a great looking board now as well. Now Jason struggles on board set number 2. He is bored in deep though. Looks like a good clean pocket. Leaps from that first board up to the second. He will be at least 4 to 5 hits ahead of Maddie Slingerland. Jason Lentz excels in that block at the top. Maddie really needed a better climb. Jason Lentz absolutely crushing this block at the top. He doesn't want to hear anything about, oh, Maddie Slingerland's into the back though. Maddie, a strong switch-handed cutter. It's going to be Jason Lentz, Maddie Slingerland about 2 hits behind. What a race. I was turned my attention to Jason Lentz for just a moment, and Maddie bails out of the front side of his log. He is an exceptionally strong switch-handed cutter and can do more damage in the back of that log than most people can, and he bailed on the front, got into that back, super strong, almost reeled Jason Lentz in as Jason was slashing away at the back of his block.
Unofficially, our only 2 sub-1 minute rounds. Sub-1 minute heat efforts. Maddie's got to be wondering how much better it would have been if he hadn't had so much trouble with the climb.
The answer to that, Tommy, is much.
Way.
Much.
Way better.
Much and way
Thank you.
better.
Thanks for the clarification.
Both cuts are good.
Yeah! Let's get a word with Jason Lentz. You're not going anywhere. No panic expression, 4-hit bottom pocket, beautiful, little trouble in the top pocket, no panic expression one bit. And right before you went, you kind of just loosened your arm up and you got yourself loose. How important is that? And talk about that top pocket.
Yeah, it's real important to stay loose, Dave. When the nerves are going, the first event,
It doesn't take much to misplace the axe. So, yeah, I just try to shake it out there. And, yeah, the top pocket, the poles were a bit firm, in my opinion. So, yeah, my opening hits didn't do what I wanted them to, and I just wanted to make a good sure cut. So,
a great cut. You're in the lead in the springboard. You're going to win the springboard, buddy, in around 52 seconds. Matty Sling was reeling you in a little on the backside, but no panic. Big round of applause to our winner, Jason Lentz.
Well, margin for improvement for Matty Slingerland. It looked good, like 4 hits where he's going to get it done, but his 4th hit came in a little low. You also heard Jason Lentz say these poles are a little firmer than they thought they would be. They're not getting the penetration of the axe. 4 hits was enough, though, for Jason Lentz on that first pocket. Great-looking board set, nice, stable board set. Just got lost a bit on that second pocket. When he got to the top, though, in an absolute head-to-head race, I would always bet on Jason Lentz through the big block at the top. Matty Slingerland, though, gave up, 4 or 5 hits to Jason in the top of the wood and reeled him in to within 2.
Just utilizing the strength of the legs instead of arm chop. How many guys do you know?
Here you can see they turned together at the same time despite the earlier start by Jason. Big slashing blows from Jason. He was deeper into the front of that log than Matty Slingerland was, but Matty Slingerland is such a strong switch-handed cutter, he can get a good amount of work done on the backside of the log instead of chasing it so deep on the front.
This year in the springboard.
Well, there are your official times right there, and Jason Lentz officially 52.81. Matt Slingerland 3 1/4 seconds behind at 56.09, but those two will take the top points, and points is what this game is all about here in this Pool C competition here. They have got the advantage after a single discipline is completed.
Well, David, you and I were just talking about who can win this overall today, and it's tied. It's tied between Matt Koger and Jason Lentz. Now, Matt Koger's single buck fell off a little, but everyone else improved, so they got in there and they wedged Jason Lentz and Matt Koger apart. Jason Lentz gaining, I think it was 6 points or something he may have gained to get a 44-point tie. If they're 1-2 or right next to each other in the springboard, doesn't matter what happens, it's going to come down to the hot saw.
Yeah, and the hot saw this year, I got to tell you, I think Matt Koger is more comfortable right now than he's ever been coming into the hot saw, except for what we saw Friday night from Nate Hodges, setting a new world record on this stage. So, Matt Koger's won 3 of the 4 big hot saw races around the country this year, but Nate wasn't there. Nate is here this weekend, and that 430cc saw has got something to say.
Right, and we keep talking about Koger and Lentz. Nate is not out of the game. Nate could win this springboard right now. If there's trouble for Lentz and Koger, Nate is going to be right back up there in the top 3. And his world record time of 4.2, which he did that again, he did that the other day. If he does it twice, he's going to go 2 for 2 with another national title.
I love it. I'm getting accosted over here by Team Slingerland because you didn't mention Matty's hot saw.
Well, let's take a look at the big screen, Dave, and a Matty Koger interview here.
This year, I kind of got the mentality that I'm just going to do every event I can as hard as I can, and then try to do it as if I'm trying to win the event, the disciplines. So, and then at the end of the day, if that helps and the points add up, then I'll be the winner, and that'd be good. And if not, then at least I can say I've done everything I could to try to win it.
It's getting late in the game, so let's go here. First heat of the Springboard Chop, Grant Foreman and Dakota Robarge.
Springboard chop, it's a big ask of these guys. 2 boards up, cut the timber and come back down. Grant Foreman going to be on stand number 1, on stand number 2, Dakota Robarge.
Yeah, Dakota Robarge just looks so effortless in this discipline. He's light, he's lean, he's coordinated. Works in the tree industry when he is not doing lumberjack entertainment shows. So he's light on his feet, and I love watching him cut a springboard.
Looking at that 11
currently 5th overall in points, with 44 being the magic number for first/second place, 38 being the magic number in that third/fourth place tie. Dakota Robar is just right there on the outside looking to punch his ticket into that top 4.
Got to be in 6th place in overall points by the time the springboard chop is over. Our bottom 2, as we mentioned, will be eliminated.
Athletes ready.
Stand to your timber. 3, 2, 1, go!
Right on the go for both of these athletes. Watch Dakota, I was about to say, watch Dakota Robarge put in a 4-hit and go on it. He actually pumped the brakes a little bit, had to go back and make a correction. Let's see how this second hole works for him. There's hit number 4. Now at 5, it'll be a 6-hit hole at least. He's going a little bit more cautious. You see that board just slide off the tree and come towards Dakota Robarge. New rule this year, you are no longer allowed to use nails in the tree to hold that board in a vertical position while you chop. And that's the reason they used them, was because they would tend to tip over. We're the only country in the world that does that. They said, you know what, you're done, get rid of the nails. Dakota Robarge, a really clean-looking cut. Gave up a little bit of wood on his downward hits there on the front side of the log. Has cut his way all the way to the back of the block. 55, 56 seconds. He's at the turn. There it is. Dakota Robarge takes out a microphone. Grant Foreman, second board, sagging heavily for him. That just absolutely takes the wind out of your sails, takes so much more energy to chop in that compromised position. He is now about to turn to the back. He's run out of cuttable wood. You see there, that axe is in an almost V in the front side of the log. He's a slash-handed cutter. Probably needs to lift a chip out. Nah, he says, forget it, Kevin, I'm just gonna cut. There he is, slashes it off. Grant Foreman, a tough break for him, as we're looking to cut 2 more competitors once we get to the end of the springboard. I believe the judge is on the stage. You're waiting for the video review to come in, and here we have the ruling.
Both cuts are good.
All right. Grant is like, man, what a long weekend it's been. You can step off. I got to talk to Cody, buddy. I got to talk to Cody. Dakota Robarge. We've talked about the springboard before, buddy. One of your favorite events. Walk me through that cut. It looked like there was a little bit of a sticky tree there. Couldn't get the fibers out of the back of those holes.
Yeah, well, actually I cut them pretty good. I just, I didn't flick the axe to get the chips out from the back. So I had to sweep them out. It wasn't a great cut, but I'm happy with it.
Absolutely, man. It looks like, I know a tulip poplar, and we were talking to Trevor Seville last year. He acquired these poles, and we had the driest season on record last year. And now these trees, of course, grow another year, and they had the wettest year on record in Virginia in July this year. And I'm just wondering, with those growth rings, if that had anything to do with kind of those stringy pockets at all, or if it was just you not flicking those fibers out.
Yeah, it was probably just me. I used a different axe today. Tristan Van Beek let me use his tree axe from the other day, so yeah, I just didn't cut very good. I've been struggling with my springboard, so.
Dude, still very fast in the top. It's a great time. Hopefully we're gonna see you in the hot sock. Give it up for Cody Robarge, everybody. What a cut.
Let's watch this climb from Dakota Robarge. He's over on the back side of the tree. You can see that springboard that's leaning on the tree, starting to rock a little bit. And as he gets up onto the second board and starts chopping, there's a great shot of it. Watch it lean over, lean over. It's kind of heading his way. He catches it just in time. We saw the same thing with Cassidy Shear in qualifying round yesterday. And watch the effortless leap as he jumps up to that second board. Not the cleanest pocket. I was talking about Grant Foreman's board sagging. I didn't notice this in the actual event. Dakota Robarge had a bit of a sag in that board, did a tremendous amount of work in the front side of the log. Not a lot of wood left to cut on his offhanded side. Gets the job done, posts a solid time. Again, is desperately trying to stay in that top 6 group.
That solid time officially a 101.02. Dakota says not great, but he'll take it. Yeah, almost sub 1. Gonna hang in there for now. It's worth 16 points, but that will change. Grant Foreman, a 136.60. I think board balancing on the pole is going to become a skill set. I mean,
it's become
what if it went the other way? What if it goes the other way?
Yeah,
what happens?
It's become an element in and of its own. They are allowed to use sandbags down on the ground to kind of steady the bottom of the board. We saw Nate Hodges struggle with that. I'm not sure how he positioned the sandbag, but when he went to pick up his first board and set it, it scooped up the sandbag with it.
Went up too.
So, you know, it's going to be a bit of a learning curve. It's a change, it's a transition. But again, this was the only place in Timber Sports global market where we were using nails to support that board. I got to be honest, I think it's a good safety thing so that the board doesn't fall over, but I also get it. If nobody's doing it, nobody's doing it. We got to live with it.
We still got 3 heats to come here in the Springboard Chop.
Second heat of the Springboard, Trevor Beaudry and Matt Slingerland.
Here we go with heat number 2 of the Springboard. Trevor Beaudry, the school teacher from New Hampshire. And a great week here. Matt Slingerland so close so many times, so many trips to the podium through the years. 7 times he's been on the medal stand. Looking to break through one of these days.
Yeah, so close, so many times. Again, he is locked in coming into the Springboard event, 38 points along with Nate Hodges. They're back there arguing over that 3rd, 4th position. I think he'd like to break himself free of that grip and get himself up to the top of the field going into the hot saw.
Reigning world champion in this event. Beaudry is going to have to find another gear right now. Gain back some of these points. Make sure to punch that ticket to be able to run his hot saw here today. Here we go.
Athletes ready.
Stand to your timber. 3, 2, 1, go!
Well, both Beaudry and Slingerland covering their work so nobody cheats off it. I can't tell what's going on the back of this tree. I can tell you both of them are up very quick with a slight advantage to Slingerland. We'll watch as they rotate around the pole. We can see what's happening better once they get to the block at the top. Slingerland with a little finger broom there cleaning out the chips in the back. That board has got a little sag to it. His right foot is out. He scooches up a little bit closer. Beaudry also not super happy with his board, but he's staying back on it. Oh, Trevor, that's a great board set. Look, now I can see inside there better. Trevor with a great board set. Maddie Slingerland with a sagging board. I mentioned in the last heat, though, that just robs energy, just absolutely saps you. This is going to give Beaudry the opportunity to try to reel him in. Here is Maddie Slingerland's ace card. He is a switch-handed chopper, exceptionally powerful on the offhand side. Beaudry may have him, though.
No, it's going to be Slingerland.
One hit ahead of Trevor Beaudry. New leader, Maddie Slingerland, off a tough second board set. Powers through, stays with it.
Sling had at least 4 hits on him going into the block.
Tommy, I think we saw there that difference between a good board set and a mediocre board set. Slingerland had the advantage. He was first to the wood at the top. Beaudry, though, with a great board set, was not losing power behind that axe. He was putting the hits where they needed to go. He was in a comfortable working position, and it just showed. He almost reeled in Maddie Slingerland.
Both cuts are good.
That was a very saggy top board there, Dave.
Yeah, we'll get a quick quick word from Maddie Slingerland. You're gonna need to fire up your hot sauce soon, buddy. Hey, talk about that cut. We can't talk enough about how you're such a switch hitter, and you've actually started chopping one way, And then as you evolved into timber sports, you switched hands. Talk about that.
Yeah, I was training there with Melvin Lentz when I was in my young 20s, and he noticed that I was pounding some dogs in left-handed and was like, why aren't you cutting left-handed? I said, I don't know. He said, switch right now. So it took me a couple of years to get comfortable with it, and I've been doing it ever since. It really helps with the springboard, like you said. I'm honestly surprised those pockets didn't hold better. That was a lot of hits, and I knew there was a little bit of wood in the back of the top pocket, but it was deep as all heck, and just didn't hold me like I wanted, so I was just lucky to get a time that I got.
At 58 seconds, here's your new leader in the springboard, Matty Sling. Get your hot saw warmed up, buddy. We're going to see him in a few minutes.
There's a little look behind those poles, thanks to the camera crew. 4 hits, good clean top face on that. No step, no cliff in there. And here's the top pocket from Beaudry. There he is. He picks up that wood on the bottom. It was a really narrow top pocket. He actually made it a little bit better by dropping the floor down a little bit too much upslope, but once he got his weight on it, it settled in. And you can see that downslope, that wiggle from Matty Slingerland. His leading foot is right on the clip. Almost, we call it sticking your toe in the hole. He almost has his shoe up into the springboard pocket itself. But again, a great switch-handed cutter as he works into the back of that log. Trevor Beaudry, 1 hit behind.
Matt Slingerland sub 1 minute, 58.04. Puts him on top for now. The longer he can hang in there, the better his chances look. And Trevor Beaudry trying to climb out. Of elimination land for now. He's in second place. How long that will last will determine his fortunes at the end of the springboard chop. But we have 2 more heats on the way. A lot of excitement here. Again, the points have doubled in this round here, so that changes the scores, the dynamics of the scores. When we get to the hot saw, the final event, we'll be down to 6 competitors, and the points will triple, making it even more volatile. It's going to be a wild finish. It usually is here. Stick around. We are a long way from finding our champion.
And let's bring them out, Ben Nicely and Nate Hodges.
Heat number 3, pretty important here. Springboard chop in nicely on stand number 1. Nate Hodges on stand number 2.
Well, I love what I've seen out of Ben Nicely today. I always feel bad because I'm like, he's doing better than I would expect, which makes it seem like I'm not expecting a lot out of him, but he really has exceeded expectations. I feel like he's higher on people's scorecards. Obviously, he would like to be higher. Nate Hodges hanging back there in that tie with Matty Slingerland coming into the springboard event has had enough of that tie.
Yeah, more than enough.
Yeah, he wants, I mean, again, world record holder in the hot saw event right now. That event's still to go, but he wants to pad his score, get as many points under his belt before you go into that hot saw.
Athletes ready.
Stand to your timber. 3, 2, 1, go.
Watch for the explosiveness and the aggression of Hodges over on stand number 2. First board set. Thankfully, Sandbag stays on the stage. We got that problem remedied as he goes to slam this second board in. Way deep into the pocket. I think he was hoping to get out of there quicker and sooner, but it is go time as he launches to that second board. Ben Nicely also setting that second board slightly more gingerly, not with the aggression or pace that Nate Hodges has. Hodges now coming up on the 30-second mark, will be putting in about 1 more round of hits here, and he will be out of cuttable wood. He is really boring into the far side of that log, goes into a switch-handed cut, both upward and downward blows, drawing a chip out. We're in the mid 40-second mark. There is Nate Hodges, 46.90, showing is his unofficial time. Nicely into the back, has a ton of work done, about 3 downward slashing blows for Ben Nicely. Posted time sub 1 minute.
Both cuts are good.
We'll see what Nate has to say here in a second. Nicely though, got to be pumped up about that. Going to get very valuable points.
Hodges, I thought it was a great cut, buddy. You missed a couple hits on your pockets. You missed one hit on the bottom pocket. You missed 2 hits on the top, but how fast you corrected them was amazing. 46 seconds. You shook your head, though. I know you expect excellence from yourself. Things happen. Let's remember, though, you won the Springboard when you won the world title overseas last year. You got to give him a big round of applause for that, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, everyone. You guys are awesome. Yeah, I'm behind in points. I said, Dave, you know what? I'm not going to be cautious. I'm just going to go full send. I'm not going to play it safe. Poles are a bit hard. I've got a thin axe. I knew it was going to like the block, but I knew it wasn't going to like the tree. It is what it is. But real quick, big shout out to this wood crew. Pretty sure they're working harder than the athletes. They're doing an awesome job all day. So I want to give them a big thanks.
Great, thanks very much, Nate Hodges. We may see him looking to break the world record again in the hot saw coming up. We haven't seen the last of Hodges.
Well, every swing equals time, and time equals points. Nate Hodges being super critical. Great looking board set, but it took him an extra punch there. Spent some extra time on that second board set. He is capable of cutting down in the 30-second range. I don't think we have the timber here for it this weekend, but there were certainly things he could clean up about that. Again, he's down in the points in his mind, sitting back coming into this event in that 3-4 tie with Maddie Slingerland. He wants to be up there in that #1 slot going into the hot saw where he can just cement his second championship run in a row.
Well, there's the official time, 46.68 for Nate Hodges. Hasn't been totally smooth for him today. A little bit of adversity. He said when he won the U.S. title last year, it was a big nervous time for him. He felt a lot more confident going into the World Championships than he did the U.S. Championships. But there's a time that's at least for the time being is going to help him manage a smile, we hope. We got plenty more on the way. Let's hear from our former champion, Jason Lentz, as he stands tied for the lead.
The Springboard, I've been mentally training it quite a bit. Last weekend at the Lumberjack World Championships, we cut a bit bigger wood, and I ended up third, which, cut it in 55 seconds, and most of my times here on the steel stage are 52, 53. Yeah, I just need to start off good, start off with the underhand and let it ride from there.
Let's bring out our final heat of the Springboard. Jason Lentz and Matthew Koger tied with 44 points each, Dave.
Final heat of the Springboard. Two heavy hitters there for sure, going through this very difficult exercise. Jason Lentz, stand #1, stand #2 is going to be the 7-time national champion Matt Koger. These two coming into the Springboard tied for the lead in overall points.
You see Jason Lentz there. It was a great shot of him kneading and working and moving the sandbag, trying to figure out how to support the board, prevent the board from moving, but also making sure that that board or that sandbag doesn't come up with the board like we saw Nate Hodges do in the qualifying rounds over the weekend.
All the big guys were there, so he can win this event. Well, it's funny. You always think that those smaller guys, those really light on their feet.
And for the second time today, Tommy, got to point it out, I love watching these two run head-to-head.
Oh my gosh, it is powerful. The earth shakes, that's for sure.
Athletes ready.
Stand to your timber. 3, 2, 1, go.
You heard Jason talk about the Lumberjack World Championship. Much bigger timber, much harder chop there, and he posted an amazing time, felt really confident. rolling here into the Timber Sports stage. Matt Koger, though, look at this man climb. He is already up on top of that second board. Axe to the wood at the 22nd mark. Oh, he's not feeling that board set, though. He was up there quick, but he doesn't like it. Of course, his board is directly across and away from us in that camera shot. I can tell it's sagging a bit. He does not have pace on it. He does not feel comfortable up there. He's resting the axe. He's wiggling it a little bit. He is not putting on a cut. Jason Lentz, though, is wading deep. Now that he got that chip out of the way, wading deep into the front side of this log. This is a horrible situation for Matt Koger. Jason Lentz must capitalize and grab these points. Backside of the log, Jason Lentz looking to slice. Matt Koger around to the back as well, but it will easily be Jason Lentz over Koger. But look at a 102 for Jason Lentz, a 106 for Koger. Happiest guy on the block, Nate Hodges.
And you can see, we can assume it on the slab underneath Matt Koger's top pocket. You can see the mark there. Usually if there's mark there, it will hold the fibers in place.
Starting to get some indication of what went wrong, courtesy of Dave Jewett. Oh yeah, there you see it in that camera shot. Yep. Look at the times. I mean, courtesy of Dave Jewett on the stage saying that top pocket, the bottom of the top pocket, split out, crushed down, and they leave the bark on these trees because it acts as a band. It holds the grain of the wood together. That blew right through the bark.
Both cuts are good.
Do this? We're talking? Yeah, man, we're going to do a quick interview with you. I thought the pockets looked good like you. I was watching them. The bottom pocket was good. I thought your top pocket was, but it gave way, and sometimes, you know, you're just not seeing what's happening. You had the bark underneath to hold the fibers, but you can see it just kind of gave way. You were lucky you stayed with it, but what's it like cutting? I know, talk to us about it.
No, like, you know, I could have cut that anywhere else in the world, and that would have held, and I guess I just need to lose a few kilos or something, but you know, it was, I felt like it was good. Jammed to the back of the pocket, got up on it, and you know, you can't sense that stuff, and I got back on it, and it just started sagging right away. You can't deliver any power off of it, and as you can see, I was choked up really hard, and I mean, that's just a bit of a mistake on my part, I guess, and I'll put that in the mental bank and work on that later.
Not out of the game. Hot Sauce coming up next. I want you to go get ready, buddy. Get some water. Matt Koger, always a great sport with his interviews, even when it doesn't go right, Dave.
Well, speaking of not going right, let's look at this run here from Matt Koger. He is right down at the bottom of that cleared area. There's bark around there, but somebody else's axe area was shaved, and you watch that board, it just starts sinking. There it goes, about 15, 20 degrees down from where it was originally set. I'm wondering, there's an area peeled next to his springboard pocket where somebody used that spot, I think, to set their axe. Sometimes that opening in the bark, there is not a complete band of bark all the way around there, and that may have just been enough to break that tension and lose that support at the bottom. Compare that to Jason Lentz, great board set, listing a little bit toe down. You see his left heel over the back of the board. I always used to say I used my heel to grab that side of the board when it was listing a little bit. Into the backside, powerful slashing blows from Jason Lentz.
Trevor Beaudry, Dakota Robarch, Nate Hodges that laid down these times thinking they were going to be beat by this.
So many moving parts in the springboard. You don't need another one. You don't need the second board moving, and that was what Matt Koger fell victim to right there. A minute, 5 seconds, 0.66 has him in next to the bottom position there. In 7th place, Jason Lentz, 102.05, just a position up. And that has certainly changed the complexion of this competition with regard to overall standings. Look at your new leader, same as last year's winner, Nate Hodges on top, 54 points, with Matt Slingerland slinging into second place there, 52. Jason Lentz and then Matt Koger rounding out your top 4.